Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from asortofinterestinglife.com. You might see my friend's boat in the background down there. My tilly is about a mile, maybe a mile and a half in that direction, and in the usual fashion the bus hasn't arrived, so I thought we would have a little wander by the canal, hopefully get the next bus if that turns up, and then head out to Llangollen where we shall go up a few more little mountains out there. Any walk that starts off going this steeply upwards is going to be a good one. Well, we've managed to find our direction. Hopefully we're going to follow this path up, and I'm going to apologise now because I'm going to absolutely ruin these Welsh pronunciations. We're going to head up, hopefully, 3 different little mountains between 5 and about 650 metres high, starting up this direction with Foel, something like that. I thought that I would share this rather over-the-top signage here for a good old muddy track, and amusingly somebody on the beer mug wrote "beer is good." We've already got some serious elevation going on here, must be at least 400 metres now I reckon, and the road has really been, yes, that steep since I got on it, and it's still going up. This is good progress upwards but not much forwards. We have reached the crossroads in the most literal sense, well, in fact plus one more route. As you can see, it's a nice simple thing, goes straight across, but if you look at the hills in the background, considering that we've only travelled half a mile from Llangollen to this point here, I think you can tell that it's been a very, very steep way up. Well, at long last, we can finally see the first destination. I'm not sure if you can see on the top of that hill there's a very small mound which is called Bidulph Tower, and that is hopefully the top of Foel, or however it's pronounced. I really couldn't resist having a peek over this little ridge here, and just look at that, absolutely fantastic. We've got a little map here where you can see that we've followed that route up to this point so far. So then that is what we've just been looking at behind us. There is Foel Mountain. So I think I'm going to follow this path around and then decide when I get to there whether I'm going to go that way or whether we'll cut that out and head that direction and see, well, what it looks like when we're over there. As I can tell, I can see one house just over there, but that is the only actual visible sign that there's any such thing as a human being in the world. Oh, absolutely fantastic. The weather seems to be turning. It's only a very fine drizzle, but just to point out that it's so windy up here, the rain is actually blowing sideways into me rather than actually falling down from the sky. Here's your first view of the other side of the mountain. So I'm heading up this path here that'll lead us to the top of Vivod. Got a little bit of blue sky, we'll see how that goes, but I think with the weather being the way it is, and at the best, because it's still early January, I'd say the best I can do is guarantee maybe 4 hours of light left, so we might see what it's like when we get to the top, and then come back down here, join the path along there, and walk straight out up to the top there, and drop down towards Llangollen. Let's see what happens. We're not even there yet, but I'll happily take a nice rainbow as a reward at this point. I thought I'd come up this way and try and get us a really good full 360 panorama, but unfortunately it's not quite that sort of a mountain top. So this is what I can offer you so far. And as you can see, there's some pretty unpleasant looking weather blowing in from there. So what I'm going to do is turn back, head back down that way. At this point, I better own up that I didn't realise I was actually on the top of Vivod Mountain at this point, as there's no trig point, which is the sort of standard marker for the top of a mountain, which you will see later on in the video. I've talked about the sort of desolate places that are here in the middle of nowhere before, but how random is this? You've got a proper sort of gnarled old little set of trees here, and yet they're pretty much on their own in all of the wilderness that you've seen. There's another little clump over there. This is very, very end of the world. Minor map reading mishaps aside, just look at that. Absolutely amazing. You can see double rainbow there, and it's just one of the strongest rainbows I've ever seen. walking up the steady slope to the top of Foel. I apologise that I've probably said that differently every time I've mentioned it in this video. Just looking back at nice stormy mountain tops there, and I'll be going up those. Those I call the proper Berwins very soon. So hopefully we'll have some excellent views up there. So stay tuned for that. There we are. We've got the trig point there. Got your little mound there, and there's a little pile of stones on the top, a cairn if you will. And I suppose better add my own to it. Wow, wow, wow. Look at that. Fantastic. Just a little one for me. How's that for you then? Absolutely beautiful. Oh, look at that. Is what I just love, and to be out here, it hasn't been entirely to plan, as I'm sure you have realised, but just spending hours upon hours out wandering the hills, absolutely amazing. I mean, just look at that. Well, this is the trig point which marks the official top of the mountain, and this basically, in the good old days when they were measuring how high everything was, these were what they used as the markers so they could look and judge angles and distances and all that sort of stuff from neighbouring hills, and then finally have themselves a hopefully accurate representation of the general height of all these places we're looking at right now. Looking down on the Ceiriog Valley there, and you can just see the little village of Llangollen itself. The plan is, hopefully, I'm going to join the road just down there. I don't know whether I've got to go up to the top of the hill to then cut back along that way, but the intention is I'm going to find a road that's going to lead back towards Llangollen, and then I think I will drop down and walk down that really muddy, steep track that we originally walked up at the start of the video. Starting to get a lot of very dark clouds coming in. Still got blue sky, but it's been raining a little bit heavier when it's been arriving on me. If we have ourselves a scan through, we've got the attention of all the sheep in the area pretty much. And I suppose now we're stood here at the top of the good old steep, goodness knows what sort of a track you would describe this as. I'm not going to call it a road, but as you saw on the way up, it's pretty much follow this and I'll soon be in Llangollen. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining me again out here for another random day out. It hasn't been entirely as expected or planned, but luckily at the moment, I don't want to jinx it by saying too much before we're all home safe, but it's all gone well in the end. I'll say subscribe, check out my other videos for boat life, kayaking, walking, maybe even a bit of climbing to come, all sorts of general bits and pieces to do with the outdoors really. Feel free to like the Facebook page, about to pass 600 likes over there, so that's fantastic. Thank you very much everybody. Just follow me on Twitter, feel free to add my personal Facebook account, all the links are at the end. Check out my 2 books about life on a narrowboat, The Narrowboat Lad and The Narrowboat Lad Living the Dream. And until the next time, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you around soon. Farewell.